Welcome to the Holistic Kids Show. My name is Zane.
My name's Abdullah.
And my name's Imad.
We're the Holistic Kids here to educate us kids from the inside out. Imad, where do you get the news from?
I got the news from Mama or actually from school, but where does Mama get the news from?
The news! That is a difficult job. Every day staying up to date with the next big thing. That is a lot of work all the time. And that is what makes new reporters so amazing and important. And we have the perfect guest with us today, who is actually a news reporter making history all at the same time.
Can't wait. Can't wait to talk to her, right, Imad?
Yes.
We can't wait. Ms Ayah Galal is a reporter and multimedia journalist at WFSB TV, the CBS News affiliate in Connecticut. And Ayah joined the Eyewitness News team in 2018 and currently serves as the Hartford Bureau Chief. Before becoming a full-time reporter, Ayah worked as a producer at WFSB and WTNH. Ayah graduated from Quinnipiac University, where she double majored in journalism and political science. In December 21st, Ms. Ayah made history, becoming the first woman in hijab to anchor a newscast in Connecticut. That is so amazing.
Thank you guys.
So amazing.
For those that don't know what a hijab is a head covering that a Muslim woman wears on her head for modesty. So people look at her for her heart and her personality and skills, not her outside physical appearance. Our mom wears one too.
Yes, Zan. And to wear one on TV every day takes a lot of self-confidence. She is our hero, so we can't wait to hear her story. We are so honored for you to be here with us, and we are so incredibly honored as we know you are so incredibly busy. And we are also very honored as you are the first hijabi woman that has come on our podcast. So we thank you for the honor.
Yes, and to wear one on TV every day takes a lot of self-confidence. She is our hero, so we can't wait to hear her story.
With almost no hijabi Muslim woman in journalism, what drove you into going into journalism? We would love to know your story.
Well, first off, thank you, Abdullah, Zane, and Ahmed for having me on the Holistic Kids Show podcast. I'm so excited to be here chatting with you guys about my journey in journalism and how I got to where I am today working in television. So my journey, I will start from the beginning. So I did not always know I wanted to become a TV reporter. So for a while when I was little, I thought I wanted to become a doctor. And I ended up taking some classes in high school, biology and calculus. And I realized I didn't really enjoy it. So fortunately, my parents and my family, they really pushed me and told me, hey, you need to do something you're going to enjoy and love doing. And what did I love? Ever since I was a kid, I always loved reading. I liked writing, traveling, meeting new people, public speaking. So I ended up studying journalism and political science. And that's what I studied in college. And then I got actively involved. We have a TV station at the college that I went to. I had a lot of fun with that. And then I ended up doing an internship at a TV station in Connecticut, not far from where I went to school. And I always enjoyed, being in front of the camera, meeting new people, sharing different stories. You meet so many different people along the way. And so in the beginning, though, I was a little scared because, when I was little, I didn't see people who wear hijab on TV in the United States. So I decided to work behind the scenes as a producer. So the producers, they do all the behind the scenes work, writing scripts and making graphics and things like that. But, deep down, I really wanted to try to be on air. So I was really happy because I worked with some really great coworkers at my first job, and they pushed me to try to find an on-air job, and I'm so happy they supported me along the way because I was able to land a job here at the CBS affiliate in Connecticut, WFSB, which is where I am right now, doing behind the scenes work and also reporting in front of the camera. So that is kind of the shortened version of how I got to where I am today.
That is amazing.
Amazing. Let's start from the beginning. What is a journalism?
Sorry, could you repeat that? You cut out a little bit.
Let's start from the beginning. What is a journalism?
So journalism is the way we get the news and the way we get information and facts about different things happening in our world. So as a journalist, my job is to share stories, and it's important that I not just share stories, but I also share them correctly and make sure that I'm reporting the facts and doing it accurately. So that means that I'm not going to insert, like my personal opinion in stories. If I'm covering a political story, I need to make sure I get both sides of the issue. And so what I do a lot of interviews. So that's what we do. And it all starts off with an idea for a story. So every single day, actually, in this room that I'm in right now, we have a morning editorial meeting. And that's when our reporters, our producers, they all pitch in their ideas and we talk about what's happening today. So I'm at a station in Connecticut. We talk about the big events that are happening today, and we decide what we're going to cover, what issues are important for people watching at home. So it could be anything from politics to health stories, stories about school. It could be a whole wide range of things. And then once the meeting's over, I'll get my story assignment. So, for example, today I was assigned a story on how hospitals in Connecticut's capital are trying to reduce gun violence. So there was a press conference where the mayor spoke, some doctors from some hospitals spoke, and then we get those interviews, and then we essentially we transcribe them. So that means we write out what they say, and then we put our story together. And so actually, the story that I put together is airing right now. It's 6:10 p.m. here in Connecticut, and it's airing right now. So that was what I worked on today. So we report the facts, we tell the stories, we conduct interviews, we'll go live from different scenes. So it really just depends on the day, but I could be covering just about anything and everything. And what's really cool is every day is something so different. So I never really know where I'll end up or who I'll meet or where I'll go for a story. So it definitely makes it a very exciting job.
That is really cool.
Really cool.
Really cool.
So you're a TV reporter, but what does a TV reporter really do but report news? Is that all they really do?
So we do a whole lot of things. So we report for television, but we also have to make sure that we're also reporting where people are spending a lot of the time. And where's that? Social media. So we not only report for television, but we also make sure we're driving our viewers to watch. So we try to post things on Facebook. We try to post things on Instagram and Twitter so that people can get their news easily. So we want to cater to how the world is changing. And now more than ever, people are getting their news through their social media feeds. So we want to make sure that we're making it easy for people to get their news through whether it's social media, some other things news reporters do. We do a lot of public speaking engagements and things like that. So actually today, I emceed an event in a town here in Connecticut. And it's really important we're out in the community because we're sharing stories in our communities. So it's important we get to meet the people who are watching the news and hear what issues they want covered and what they think, we should be investigating, what they think we should be looking into and things like that. So we definitely do a lot. We're always very busy working on the next story, but you know what? It's such an important job because people need to know what's happening in their communities. They need to know what's happening in the world around them.
You have come a long way. Making history is not easy. What difficulties did you have in your journey?
Yeah, so there definitely have been a lot of challenges along the way. And, as someone who wears the hijab, unfortunately, not everyone is completely supportive of that. So, especially in the beginning, I did get some kind of mean, Islamophobic messages on social media or through email. Some people said they would stop watching. My station were Channel 3. They said they would stop watching because they didn't want to see someone in hijab reporting the news. So it definitely could be hard at times, but I have to say, from when I first started, I started at my current station 3.5 years ago. I've actually gotten a lot of support, which has been amazing. So while I have gotten, some mean messages, actually the kind and supportive messages are definitely way more than the mean, nasty messages. So definitely a few challenges along the way, but I'm so grateful. I've had very supportive coworkers and family and friends. So it's definitely easy to keep going when I have that support.
Wow, that is really cool.
Really cool.
Really cool.
So, who inspires you to keep on going? Because obviously, it's no walk in the park.
Yeah, and that is such a great question. I would say it's a lot of different things. It's the communities that I cover. It's the young Muslim girls who I meet along the way and their families. So actually at the event I was emceeing today, I met quite a few young Muslim women who are big fans of the station I work at and the work I do. And I think it's so important to keep going because I know that, when I was young and when I was growing up, there weren't people who looked like me on TV reporting the news. And I wanted to be able to make sure I could change that. So people know that whether they wear hijab or not, they can do whatever they set their mind to. So I think it's important to know that it's bigger than me. It's about inspiring others along the way and really helping make sure other people who are trying to figure out what professions they want to enter can do whatever they set their mind to. And the great thing is, I'm not the only hijabi TV reporter in the United States. There are a few others, and their names are Tahira Rahman, Amal Al-Hil. And you know what? It inspires me to see my fellow Muslim sisters also succeeding in what they're doing. So there's a few others. We're a small group, but our hope is that we continue to grow and inspire others along the way.
Do you ever get anxious? And if you do, how do you help yourself in that situation?
That is a great question. Yeah, it can definitely get stressful sometimes because working in news, it's so fast paced and sometimes breaking news happens. You have to get somewhere quickly to try to find out the information that you need to do like a live report. So it could definitely be challenging sometimes. And, you don't want to show you're stressed out live on air. So the great thing is, and I tell this to, classes, when I speak to classes, it's always a team effort. So you'll see me and you'll see my face on camera, but there is a whole team of my coworkers working in the control room, making sure that we put together a great newscast. And if I need help, I can always ask one of my colleagues for help. We have excellent content producers who can also help make phone calls on an assignment for us. So really, it's important to note that you're never alone in a newsroom. You have people you could go to for help. And if you feel like, you need some assistance with something, there will always be someone who can help you out, which is so important. When things are constantly changing or if breaking news is happening, it's always a team effort and you can't do it alone. It's really just a group-wide effort in order to put on a good show or pull together a great story.
That is a lot of work. What does your daily routine look like?
That's another great question. So my daily routine begins with, I like to wake up, kind of look through my emails, see what sort of news happened overnight that I might have missed out on when I'm sleeping. So I always kind of like to know what's the latest happening in Connecticut. I cover Connecticut's capital city of Hartford. So I like to make sure I'm up to date on, any of the big events happening in Hartford. And then from there, I'm looking for story ideas. So what can I cover today? What is important that's happening today? What do people need to know? Maybe there's a snowstorm on the way and people need to know, to bundle up, stay off the roads. And that'll happen, in the winter. But on a beautiful day like today, when the weather's great, there are some other issues that we're going to cover. So it really depends, throughout the pandemic, we've covered a lot of COVID related stories on how people could stay safe and protect their loved ones and things like that. So once I'll send in my story ideas for the day. Again, that morning meeting will happen. And then I figure out what I'll be covering for the day. And then I start making phone calls on my story, reaching out to people I'll need to speak to. So if I'm doing like a story on, let's say, the COVID vaccine, I'll see if there's a doctor I can speak with who could provide some more context on whatever issue I'm reporting on. And then we conduct our interviews. We write our story, and then a producer has to approve it. So someone else will make sure my story makes sense. There are no factual errors, things like that. And then it'll get approved. And then we edit it together. And then if I'm live, I will be live, maybe outside of a hospital, live outside of a police department. And then once my story airs and I do my live shot, that's basically my day. So it's a lot in a short amount of time. If it's a big story, I'll be live several times, maybe at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. I'll make sure to post to social media so people on social media will know what I'm covering. So it's usually a busy day. It goes by fast, that's for sure.
That is amazing.
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 So you said you do you only work in Connecticut, or do you sometimes broadcast maybe from a nearby city or a town, or do you try staying inside that perimeter or that area?
Yeah, that is another great question. So since I work at the CBS station in Connecticut, we're a local news station. So I mostly focus on local news. Very rarely do I go out of state for news unless it is a really big story. We will go out of state. But for the most part, I'm in Connecticut. And for me specifically, I cover the city of Hartford. So for the most part, I'm covering stories that are happening in Connecticut's capital city. And I'm actually going to just stand up. The light went off. It thinks nobody's in the room since I've stayed still. So while you think of your next question, let me just make sure the light goes back on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1.
Alrighty. And you know what? Actually, going off of that, sometimes we have technical issues that happen. So sometimes some equipment doesn't work. There will be a problem with the camera or an issue with lighting or things like that. And you know what? That's part of working in live television. So we just try to do our best to keep going. If a mistake happens, we can acknowledge it, but we always just try to keep going and keep doing our best.
So your work is a nonstop job and can take a lot out of you. What self-care rituals do you incorporate into your life to keep you balanced? I mean, it's probably a very stressful job trying to get up to date with everything that's happening in such a large town and state.
Yes, and self-care is so important. And I think it's something that definitely needs to get talked about, especially in a fast-paced job like journalism, like TV news. So for me, I definitely try to work out as much as I can before I go into work. So that way I will just feel better. I'll feel healthier. I have a high stress job. And so it's important I don't internalize all of that stress. That's why I like to exercise. So I like to do weightlifting. I like to go on walks. There are a few really nice trails near where I live, so I'll try to go for a walk, especially on a beautiful day like today in Connecticut. It's nice and sunny. So walks are so important. Staying hydrated is so important. And then for me personally, I also love to read. So sometimes if I've had a very stressful day or it's been a very busy week, I'll try to take a break from the news. Even the news reporter needs to take a break from the news. And, I won't look at my phone for a little bit. I won't look at the news for a little, and I'll try to reset and recharge. So for me, reading is just very relaxing. I like to learn new things. And reading is just something that I've always enjoyed ever since I was a little kid. So those are the big things.
What is the funnest part of your job?
Oh, that's a great question. And you know what it is? It's meeting new people every single day. So I'll never know starting off my day who I will run into, who I will meet. But really, it's the people that make this job so fun. I've met some really sweet, kind people who just go above and beyond in their communities every single day. So I really just love meeting new people and making new friends along the way. And these are people I wouldn't meet otherwise, but I get to meet them through my job, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, we love meeting people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the news can get negative and can get serious. How do you not internalize all of that craziness that's happening?
That is another really, really good question. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes it's really hard, especially I cover a lot of crime, shootings that happen, terrible things that are just really, really sad. And I think it's important, like I was saying earlier, I do my best with each story. And then I think it's also important sometimes to try to not internalize everything, but also just sometimes to take a break and to take a walk if I need to. Prayer helps. I have my 5 daily prayers as a Muslim that are also important and helping kind of just take a break from the craziness of the day. And it gives me a moment to kind of disconnect a little. And so it's an ongoing challenge. There are some days I really feel like it's just hard to, disconnect from the work that I'm doing. I care a lot about the stories that I tell and share. And, I always want to do justice for every story that I put together. So some days are definitely more hard than others, but I definitely try to always just put forth my best each and every single day.
Thank you so much. You are so inspiring.
Inspiring.
What advice would you give to us to help us accomplish our dreams?
Another great question. You guys ask very good questions. I would say the number one thing, always be curious and, never let that go. As a journalist, as a reporter, it's curiosity that drives the stories that I cover. And I think, especially from a young age, that's important to try to always know a little bit about something, not just what you want to go into, So I went into journalism, but it's still important. I know a lot about how, different things work in different parts of the city that I cover. And so something my dad always told me growing up is it's important to know a lot about something and a little bit about everything. And that applies to what I do in my job. I try to know a lot about journalism, but also a little bit about everything. I could be covering food. I could be covering fashion, entertainment, health, crime, government. It could be literally anything. So I think it's important to try to just be curious, always have an open mind, ask good questions, and truly there is no such thing as a stupid question because you never know what you'll learn from someone. And I think, there's a special power in storytelling. And so just by trying to understand someone's story and always being open-minded, you can really learn a lot. And something my job has taught me is that there's still so much that I do not know. So I would say for you guys, just try to always be curious, always ask questions, and always keep an open mind.
I love that quote as well.
Yeah, me too.
So, you were talking about like a lot of people, you were talking about crime, right? And how it's so hard to witness all of this and even talk about it. What would you tell people that are dealing with challenges as well?
Yeah. So for my job, it's really hard because sometimes I meet people on the worst days of their life. If they just lost a loved one to a shooting or maybe to a house fire or something like that. So it's important for me as a journalist to be sensitive and to know that maybe someone will not be comfortable talking on camera after they witnessed something horrific. So I think it's so important to always be sensitive. And I tell people I'm a human being first and a journalist second. But at the same time, I want to give families and give people in our community an opportunity to remember their loved ones. And if someone just lost a family member to a shooting and perhaps, they want to send a message to the community about how we can decrease gun violence in our towns and cities, my job as a journalist is to provide them that opportunity and that platform. So it could definitely be hard, but I think it's also so important because, sometimes it's these really sad and difficult stories that can help facilitate change in our community and show that, hey, maybe there's more work we can be doing. Maybe we could be doing things differently to try to keep people safe.
Wow, that is beautiful. You are so inspiring.
Beautiful. Inspiring.
Thank you, guys.
It's our pleasure.
It's our pleasure.
It's our pleasure.
Where can people learn more about you and your work?
Well, thank you so much. I'm inspired by the wonderful work you're all doing and the great questions you're asking. So my stories air on WFSB.com. That's Channel 3 here in Connecticut. But if anyone's curious to see some of the stories I've done, you could head to our website, WFSB.com. And I also try to post updates on my social media. So my Facebook page is Ayah Galal TV. That's also my handle for Instagram, Ayah Galal TV. And then on Twitter, I'm Ayah Galal. And I do have a website too if people have questions or comments or things like that. And that's just ayahgalal.com.
Now it's time to recap your key points. Thank you so much for joining us today as well. We are so honored.
And everyone make sure to follow Ms. Ayah on social media.
Now, let's recap your key points. Like I said, without journalism, the world would be ignorant. Journalism is so important because it gives current and relevant information and even news to the public. Benjamin Franklin said, "Whoever would overthrow the liberty of a nation must begin by judging the freeness of speech." People need to know what is happening in this world and communities. No matter what you do in life, you will deal with challenging times. Find your community and support, remember, and you can make your dreams come true if you try. Always be curious and try always to learn about something. Because like she said, it's good to know about a lot about something, but it's also good to know something about everything. I'm sorry if I butchered that.
No, that's okay. You did a great job.
And keep going and keep doing your best. Self-care is important, especially in a fast-paced world. Don't internalize your stress. Going on walks in nature can help you lower stress. Make sure you are hydrated. Take a break from the news sometimes and your phone, and find a fun book to help you read and recharge. Put forth your best every single day.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ayah. We are so honored you shared your wisdom with us today. We know you are incredibly busy, so we are incredibly honored.
Thank you, Abdullah, Zain, and Ahmed, so much for your time. I had such a great time speaking with you about the work that I do in journalism. I hope everyone was able to learn something new. And like I said, just always be curious. Keep up the great work that you're doing with your show. It was such a pleasure joining you guys today. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, my name is Ayah.
My name's Abdullah.
And my name's Imad.
Follow my family and I on social media, Holistic Mom D, and look out for my mom's book, The Holistic RX, Your Guide to Healing Chronic Inflammation and Disease. And the Holistic RX, Your Guide to Healing. Did I say that? Holistic for parenting healthy brains and bodies in a changing world. And the amazing children's book we wrote together called Adam's Healing Adventures, The Power of Rainbow. So get on Amazon. Yay! We have a special gift for everyone listening because we are almost at our 2-year mark. We want to give you all our special dessert cookbook. We know most kids love sweets, so we put our favorite recipes just for you in the description of this podcast. Kids need to learn from other kids. Please download our podcast and on iTunes and leave a review so other kids and families can benefit. We need to work together to create a healthier future for all of us and the planet. Join us next week for another episode of the Holistic Kids Show. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.